You don't have trust issues with other people. You have trust issues with yourself. And you probably think that this is all about confidence, but it's not. And I've watched myself make promises over promises and I didn't even stick to them. For example, I start tomorrow, I start next week, I start when I feel ready. And every time I did this, I learned myself or I learned my brain that my words doesn't mean nothing, that I'm unreliable. And someday I just stopped moving on, because what is the point to make a future with someone who doesn't even comply with his own words? Right now there are millions of people stuck, not because they don't know what to do, it's because they actually cannot, or they don't believe they can actually do the stuff. And they also made so many promises to themselves that they even cannot believe their own words. And how do you want to build something when the foundation is broken? So first of all, you need to build up the foundation, to build up your self-trust that you can build something around it. And I've lived it for over 13 years. And here is how I rebuilt that, and let me show you how I did it. So I used to build the perfect system, to make the perfect plan, to make the perfect thumbnail, to make the perfect description, and every time I want to execute, I just didn't, because it was action that I have to do. So what I did instead is I planned more. I made the plan better, I perfected it more, I planned out every detail, how I would record this video, where I should put out the camera, but never actually place the camera there and press record, because it was way easier to just plan, because I can hide behind the planning instead of working on something. And here's what I didn't understand back then, that preparation or over planning isn't a preparation for the video. It's just a place where I can hide, because if I never set up the camera, if I never press record, I would never fail. If I would never fail, I would never have the consequences, and I would protect myself by just planning more and more. So I stopped building the perfect plan for the video, the perfect thumbnail, perfect position. I just told myself I do stuff today. For example, if I say I do this video tomorrow, I will never do this. So instead of saying I'm gonna do this video tomorrow, I will say I will do a description for the video now for 10 minutes. Or with the gym, I don't go to gym tomorrow, I will do 10 push-ups now. Or with a business, I'm not gonna build a business tomorrow or next week, I'm gonna start writing ideas down only for 10 minutes. And here's the next sign that you need external validation. For example, if you have a good YouTube idea, you ask your friends, you ask your parents, you ask strangers on the internet if it's a good idea, because you need the external validation from someone else to say, yeah, that's good, that's a good idea, instead of yourself saying that's a good idea, because you cannot trust yourself. So you always ask some random dude on the internet if it's a good idea, for example with a YouTube channel. So you need to stop with that, because if you ask everyone else for permission that this is a good idea, you can never build up self-trust, and you can never build up something you truly love. And that's why you need to stop on the external validations from other people's. So everything is internal, everything begins with you, and the external part, the external validation comes afterwards, and maybe never, for example. And here's sign number 3. Instead of asking other people, you change your mind constantly. And what do I mean with that? For example, on Monday you start with a YouTube gaming channel, and on Wednesday you already changed your mind, yeah, maybe I'm gonna do a graphic design channel, and maybe on a Friday you're gonna start a real life channel. So you constantly change path, you constantly choose different path, because you cannot trust yourself to stick to it for years and years, because maybe you saw a video, or maybe you don't trust yourself that this path you're gonna take, for example this gaming channel, isn't about the future you want. So you're gonna change your path in a different direction or in a different niche. And that's also a problem, because if you don't stick for long enough, you will never get through. You will never push, because you always restart and restart. So the point is to pick a plan, to pick a niche, to pick a direction, and stick for it, for example for 3 years, and see what comes out, even if you don't feel like it. And you will never, you will feel there's pain in your chest that you want to quit, but you need to push through that pain because eventually someday it will pay off for you. And sign number 4 is something you definitely don't expect. You need to stop to say sorry for everything you do. For example, I went to the shopping store and said, everyone, sorry, I need to go through, or sorry, can I go through? Or if I speak loud enough, sorry for saying that, but this. Or in a group, sorry guys, can I sit here? And you need to stop with that, because if you always say sorry, eventually you will build up a version of you in your mind that you first of all don't recognize, and second of all is always there. And what I mean with that is that your mind will always tell, okay, you're not worth to go through that group, or you're not worth to go at that place without saying sorry, so you don't belong there. And if you stop saying sorry to everything that you do, you eventually build up a version of you that is accepted at that place. And with that, we come to sign number 5. And this is very important because you need to push through when nobody is watching. And I'm sure you heard this hundreds of times on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and every social media. So everyone said you need to push when nobody's watching. And what do they all mean with that? So for example, if you start a YouTube channel at the beginning, no one will notice you. So you need to push, you need to publish videos every day, every week, every month for a year or 2 when nobody's watching. It's like the same with streaming. So you start small, for example on Twitch. If you start, you stream, it's not gonna be like on YouTube on the top, it's gonna be on the bottom with 0 or 1 viewers. And that's because Twitch is organized like that, and you need to push, you need to stream, for example, for 8, 12 hours a day to get some viewers to be on top of the streaming list. And that's what all of that means. So you're only one that are accountable for your own decisions. So when nobody's watching, the only one who is watching is you. And if you cannot build something, a system, or build content around it when nobody's watching, when only you are there, then nobody's gonna even push you. You are the only one who will be there when nobody's there. You and your mind will always be together, and everyone is not there. Maybe you have friends who are supporting you, maybe you have a girlfriend who is supporting you, but when it comes hard on hard, nobody's there. Nobody will support you because everyone has their different problems, has their own problems, and you and your mind are only there. And if your mind tells you you're not worth, don't publish because nobody's watching, then why in first place are you even starting? So you need to fix your mind, because you are the only one accountable for the content that you're producing, or for example on a different project, you're the one who is responsible for everything, even when nobody's watching. So here is how you actually rebuild your self-trust. It's not by committing a big project. You need to take small steps at a time. For example, you wake up at 5 AM, not for a week, for a month. Because if you wake up every day at 5 AM and nobody's watching then, for example, because maybe you're alone, you're at the parents, or you're with your girlfriend, and if you're awake at 5 AM while everybody is sleeping, you are truly alone with yourself. You're the only one who will do something before everyone wakes up. For example, you have an hour window where you have time to build up your business, to build up your YouTube channel. So you do this for 1 month, wake up, and for example, don't go on your phone and make scripts, for example, for a video. Write some scripts down every day for a half hour in the morning, and that's it. With all the small steps, you can, in the next month, you can make another step, and then another step, and with that, slowly you build up your self-trust again. And with that, you also need to stop lying to yourself. For example, when you say something, like you do 10 push-ups instead of go to the gym, you do the 10 push-ups now because you need to rely on your words. And if you cannot rely on your words, if your words doesn't mean nothing, then you cannot even build self-trust. So you need to stop lying to yourself. And the last tip is that you need to forgive your past. Because if you always remember or thinking about the past, about the failures you did, you will never truly come away from it, because it is always pulling you back. So you need to forgive your failures, you need to learn from your failures, you need to analyze your failures and let go of them, because if you let go of them, you can truly build up your self-trust and build something significantly, because someday you will think about the past and it pulls you behind and it pulls you in a somehow a deep how you say it, like a state where you're desperate, where you're in shame that you did this failure. And if you forgive that and let go, that's good, because you can now build up self-trust. And it's not about erasing your old past, erasing your past. It's about controlling what you do and what you think. Because if you control your mind, you will control everything around it. Because as I mentioned, you don't need external validation. Everything comes from the inside. And if you control your brain, if you control your mind, you will truly get power from nothing, from the universe, and you will build something truly significant that is worth for you. And let me be honest with you, I'm still not perfect. I still go back to my past, still think about the past, maybe didn't let go of everything. Some days it will catch up on me and then I fall into that deep state where it's just, yeah, it's not good to stay in that state. But I'm just a man like you, and who's trying to rebuild your self-trust. And I still break promises that I promised to myself. I still make this. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying you need to be perfect. I say just you need to stop, have the inner war with yourself and just be a new and better person. Because someday it will truly pay off if you stay and stick to that with your own promises, with your own words. Someday you will be so a confident and capable man that everybody will think how he did this. And then you can say you watched my video. And that's with the video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to go deeper into the conversation about the self-trust and self-discipline route, you can watch this video. And YouTube and I recommend you this video because it's most suited for you. And as for that, thank you for watching, guys. I'm rooting for you.